Hey everybody, thank you for tuning in to Real Laughs on 104.1. It is Thursday. We are almost to Friday, that weekend, and I can't wait. I am your host, Mr. James Yan. I am joined with my good friends tonight to give you guys a great show. I got Mr. Mike Herlihy from the Obligatory Podcast. Mike, what's going on tonight?
Yes, sir. Everything good, man. Everything good.
Nice, man. Nice. We also got the Orlando godfather of comedy and t-shirt maker, Mr. Kid Miller's in the house.
Baby, what's up, baby? Long hair don't care, baby.
Not anymore. You care.
Not anymore, baby.
Now you care.
I'm back on schedule, bro. Every 2 weeks, I'm at the barber shop, bro. I ain't no more Amistad for me.
Give us a haircut.
Bro, my barber had to cut my hair with a lawnmower. He's like, boy, he said, sit on the ground, boy.
Bro, he was rapping the can like tougher than Nigerian hair.
Bro, and when I text him, I said, hey, Rob, don't laugh at me when I walk in the barbershop. I got you, bro. I walked in the barbershop. Bro, they had me on the Instagram. They had me on their Instagram story.
See, like, that's cool, man. After how loyal you were to that guy for 3 months, like, I ain't doing nothing until he's back up and running.
Oh, bro, they clown me, bro.
He didn't look like the outtakes. He looked like the outtakes from Django Unchained. Like in the beginning.
Yo, when Jamie Foxx take the wig off. Jamie Foxx was like, put the wig on a mannequin head. Like, all right, man.
Oh, that is funny, man. Well, I'm glad you got everything worked out, Ken.
Yes, sir.
Now, I had an interesting conversation with my kids, man. We were sitting around talking about our family tree and where everybody comes from. And my oldest, Devin, asked me, he goes, Dad, why didn't you name me Junior? Because we were talking and I was telling him that your son, Ken, is named Junior. And he was asking me why I didn't do that. And then I had to explain to him this long, convoluted story about names in my family because there's no rhyme or reason, and it doesn't make any sense where I got my name from. Like, my name isn't even James. That's not my name. Jan's not my father's last name. So let me explain. This is going to sound kind of crazy.
Yeah. Because I didn't even know what your name is,
bro. I got a
James O. Witness Protection Act.
Yeah, all these years we've been working with P. Diddy. We didn't even know it over here, man.
Hey, I'm going to tell you the truth.
Yo, Big Pun ain't dead, B.
Yeah. AKA Snuffleupagus.
That's right. Bro, I'm not even black. So anyway. Okay.
You owe me $5, Ken. I've been saying that for years.
Hey, man, I'm going to cash app it to you, bro.
Okay, here's what happened, right? My mom had a lot of relationships when she was a younger woman.
These are men she didn't shoot?
Yeah. Hey, that's how you know my mom really loves you. Like, if she shoots you, woo, Jackie, she love that brother right there. She shot him 3 times. Woo, that's real love.
Yo, when y'all watch this video, I had to take my damn headphones out. This dude said, are these men she didn't shoot, bro?
Because if you don't know out there, people, my mom shot my actual father 3 times in the chest.
James, why is that not in your set?
Because the statute of limitations don't run out.
It's still under investigation.
Mike, we need to sit down and write that out for James. That's hilarious, bro. Son, go ahead, James. I got tears in my eyes, bro. This dude said your mama ain't shoot him yet, bro.
So my mom, I believe, was with my dad first. Yeah, first, right? And his name is Dawson. His name is Willie James Dawson.
He's so black, son.
Man.
So black.
He's either black or an assassin. That's an assassin name. That JFK, shot by Willie James Dawson.
Willie James Dawson. Willie James Dawson from Tupelo, Mississippi.
Abraham Lincoln, assassinated by William James Dawson.
Anybody named Willie James can smoke cigarettes with it leaning down, don't even fall out,
and
fix your car.
Boy.
Yeah, bro.
His nickname was Big Billy J.
That's right. So my dad's name was Willie James Dawson. My mom never married him. They just were together, living together, whatnot. Now, when my mom went away from my dad, she started dating this guy, and his name was something Jan. Now, for some reason, My mom started going by Jan because I think she married this dude. Okay, that's what it was. She married this dude. She started going by Jan.
And how old were you at the time?
I think I was like 1-2 years old, maybe.
Okay.
So I think my mom, just to add insult to injury to my dad, changed my last name from Dawson. She changed it to Jan just to mess with my dad. All right.
Was it a change, or is that what was put on your birth certificate when you were born?
It's on my, I don't even know how, but it's on my birth certificate.
Okay, then that might mean that, were you even in the picture when she was dating, or was she pregnant when she was dating Mr. Jan?
I'm not, I don't know that, but that's a great question to find out. I'm not sure, but Jan is on my birth certificate, which is really strange.
Because usually that would be, yeah.
But we talk about in the country years ago, Mike.
Mhm.
So the rules.
James didn't get a birth certificate until he was 6.
Yeah, yeah.
Man, just put, hey, baby, can he use your last name? He said, yeah. He said, yeah.
So okay. So my name when I was born is is it?
This dude don't even know his name.
Don't even know his name.
Okay, it is James. Okay, I take it back. It's James Darren Jan. But when I was growing up, they called me by my middle name, which happens a lot in Black families.
Yeah.
They'll call you by your middle name.
Yeah.
So for years, I went by Darren when I was living by all my family up in the Panhandle in Tallahassee. So that's what my family knows me as. They know me as Darren. But when I got old enough, my mom says, she told me, she goes, look, your name is James Darren. Would you rather stay with Darren or would you like to go with James? And I'm like, well, I've never been James before. So I was like,
you took an alias, didn't even need it yet.
Well, I'm glad I did. So I went by James from now on. I'm like, I'm going to be James. So my name went from being James Darren Dawson, I think, to being James Darren Jan. And Jan is all I've known. And it's funny because my mom came up to me like, maybe 6 years ago. She's like, baby, you know, your name's supposed to be Dawson. I'm like, yeah, I know, but you didn't put it on the birth certificate. She goes, well, you need to change your name back to Dawson. I'm like, Mama, I've been James for 40 years. Yeah. Want me to change it to Dawson? Tell my, hey, kids, guess what? Your name is no longer Jan.
Ken, I just love how a lot of African Americans can trace their name all the way back to the first African kings. And he can't even remember like 50 years ago what was going on.
Yeah. I think my name was Jermaine Dupree Dawson.
Yeah.
The great tribe of Tallahassee.
Okay. I'm going to end my story right here. I have 2 other sisters. Same story. Same name changes and all the same craziness.
What's your sister's names?
Okay. Which name you want? Okay. It's Gwendolyn Davis something, and then it's Gwendolyn Davis something else. My sister's name, Jennifer Antoinette something, and Jennifer Antoinette something else too.
Okay, because I know Jennifer. I don't know the other sister.
That's the funny part. The Jennifer Jan you know, that's not my sister.
It's not?
No, that's not my sister.
Son, I thought that was your sister this whole time.
I interviewed her on my show, and we both are from the same spot in Tallahassee. She's related to Quincy Jan, that's the dude's name, but we don't know how we're related. That's not my sister.
But y'all might be some kin.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
I'm telling you, the name game, baby.
All right, because she.
What about you, Ken? You named your son a junior.
Yeah. So the thing about my family, y'all know I'm a big family. I'm number 8 of 11 kids.
Woo!
And we all got different daddies.
Keeping it real.
We even got different mamas. You know, my mama passed when I was young, so I moved with my aunt. But my name is Kenneth, which is my great grandfather's name. But my middle name is Kente from Roots. And my dad wanted to name me Kunta Kente, but my mama said no. But so I end up being Kenneth Kente Miller. But the thing is, everybody in my family claims that they gave me that name. Nobody, my mom's dead, so I can't get my stepmom says it was her, my dad says it was her, my sister. So I named my son Junior, but he loves the name. Like his rap name is Kente. But all my brothers have a son, but they're not juniors. Yeah. They're all like Lil Derek, Lil Reggie, Lil Keith, Lil Troy, but they're not juniors because they don't have the Miller last name. I was the only one that got married and actually gave my kids my last name.
Wow.
So my son is actually Kenneth Kente Miller Jr. The rest of mine I was like Derek White, Reggie Smith, you know what I'm saying? So, but the middle name thing, My brother's name is Dwayne Terrell, but we call him Terrell.
Yeah.
Three of my brother's middle name is Lamont.
Wow.
My oldest sister's name is Angela. My youngest sister's name is Angela. So I got a big Angie and a little Angie.
What?
I'm not yes. My sister name is Benita Renee. I got an aunt named Renee. My sister name is Brenda. I got an aunt named Brenda. So everybody in my family is named after somebody somehow, somewhere in the family line. No, so my daughter is the one that I'm like, you're not getting no. I said, you're not getting no Miller name. So her name is Jazia. But her middle name is Lorraine, which is my ex-wife's mom name. So we end up doing it anyway.
Wow. Good
so
Lord.
I'm Kunta Kinte, bro.
Yes, you are.
I'm
Mike,
Kinte.
Do you have a normal story about your name?
Well, let's get past my first name real quick because it's the most common male name from 1954 to 1996. Well, the reason I don't spell it like that is because when I started comedy in South Florida, every time I went to open mic, there were like 7 or 8 mics waiting to go on stage. So I just started spelling it with the Y because that's the way my nephew had spelled it on a birthday card one year when he misspelled my name. And I'm like, man, I'll just do that to be different, so they can pick me out.
I always wondered that story, bro. Thank you. Now I know.
Fun fact, I'm like the only Mike from that list of South Florida guys who is still doing comedy, so I should have just kept my name. But the Hurley name, there's a story in my family that when my great-grandfather came over from Ireland, he was at Ellis Island, and they were making people pass through alphabetically. And we were originally O'Hurley, So they dropped the O at Ellis Island so they could move ahead in, like, the alphabetical order of getting processed. And everybody's always praised my great-grandfather as, like, some genius. And I was at Thanksgiving one year. I'm like, well, if he was a real genius, wouldn't we be called Abbott? Yeah. And now that side of the family don't talk to me anymore. But with my family, dude, because my name was so common, I was like, man, when I have kids, I ain't gonna give them common names, because I hated having 5 mics in my class every year and stuff like that. So I had a name. My kid's name was. You remember that movie Legends of the Fall with Brad Pitt?
I do.
You ever see that?
I do.
His name was Tristan. And I was like, man, I don't know any Tristans. That sounds like a great name. I'm going to name my kid Tristan. So since high school, I was telling my parents, I'm going to have a son. His name's going to be Tristan. The year before I have my son, my older brother has a kid, names him Christian. Wow. And I'm like, mother. So I start going through all the names, and I had to deal with my kid's mom. Like, let me name this one. It's my son. If we have a daughter, if it's a girl, you can name the girl. If it's a boy, I'm going to name the boy. And it turned out to be a boy, so I'm like, okay, this one's mine. You can have the next one. Full on known. We were never going to have another one. So I named him. I named him Aiden, which is Gaelic for he who is like fire. And I named him William after my grandfather, who had passed away right before we found out we were pregnant with him. That was his middle name. Nice. That year, Aiden and Hayden and Caden become the most common names across the board. Mike. So then we end up having another kid. I'm like, okay, you can name that one for your family. And she names them Oliver and Fisher, because Fisher is a family name. I'm like, well, that kid got screwed twice. So, you're an Oliver or a Fish. What do you want, man?
Damn, bro. Say, I always forgot, Mike, your name is not really spelled with the Y. I always forget that. You're right, man.
I found it out when you emailed me. I was like, this dude named Michael.
And you know what's funny? You know what's funny? Once I hit 40, I'm like, can I change that back now? But I got like 3,000 business cards already printed.
You do.
I got to go. And I got clubs who just now started spelling it with a Y. I hate to be like, hey, guys.
It's so funny you said, because I every now and then we joke and I call you Michael. When I talk to Jeff Jones, I always call him Jeffrey, just to make him mad.
Hey, guys, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more Real Laughs on 104.1. Welcome back, everybody. You are still listening to Real Laughs on 104.1. I'm your host, Mr. James John, reminding you that you can listen to all our past episodes on the iHeart app. You can also find us on Spotify and iTunes. Don't forget, you can also follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and now YouTube. You can watch these beautiful voices come out of our faces now. I'm joined tonight with some very funny guys who I know and love, and now I know where their names come from. I got Mike Hurley, and I got the Godfather Orlando of comedy, Kunta Kinte Miller. That's
Oh, bro, my dad was here. He'll beat your ass. He loves.
What, he really?
Oh, my daddy loves that name. That's what my dad's side of the family calls me Kente.
Okay,
so
everybody
if you ever meet anybody,
that.
yeah. If you ever met, we call Junior Kente. So if you ever meet my dad's side, Kente is what they call me.
I love whenever you're doing that joke about your name on stage and you say Kunta Kinte and the room tightens up for a split second. For a split second, you're like, "That's my real name."
That's my real name. I'm like, "Yo, laughing."
Okay. They're like, nobody's laughing now.
No,
bro.
They're like, "Are we allowed to say that?"
Club,
yeah.
You go back to clubs now, Ken. Nobody's laughing. Everybody's
like,
stop.
Yo. Yes, sir.
Like, where'd they get all those black gloves?
Yeah.
Don't worry
After you do
it.
that joke, you're going to see a line of people at your table. They're not there by merch. They're there to tell you they're the good white people and where they marched. I just want to take some time. I just want to take some time to let you know I'm one of the ones who turned my profile black on Tuesday.
Yo, Mike, you are so right. Remember how white people would say, "I'm not racist. I got a black friend." That's the new thing. People are going to be like, "Look, I marched, sir." Okay, I would let you. I marched.
Here's my Instagram picture showing you.
Yeah, they're gonna be like, "Listen, I skipped brunch to march." Okay, I am woke.
Well, it wasn't so much that I was marching. I was just on the way to the groomers, and this crowd of people surrounded me, and we were going in the same direction.
So I picked up Mr. Sprinkles and I held him.
That's right.
Where are my dogs at?
Well, I just have to tell you, he is a black lab, so you know I'm woke.
Black labs matter. He's a black lab. I'm woke.
You guys idiots, bro.
Well, Miguel's not here today. No, Miguel normally has these duties. He does Throwback Thursday. So in his honor, I'm going to be taking it over today. So let's get started with Throwback Thursday. All right, we're going to talk about our childhoods because that's what's near and dear to old people like me, or as my kids call me, an old head. And I remember back in the day, there were some movies that I enjoyed that I can't watch now because they were absolutely horrible because the subject matter for these movies in the 80s and 90s never worked out. And I'm talking about movies about video games. Y'all remember these?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They made a ton of money, but they were absolute garbage. Okay. Okay. A movie that I love because I'm a nerd, but I can't watch it now because it's awful. I don't know if you've seen this movie, Ken. Tron. It's a Disney movie, but it is a horrible rewatch right now. It was the most rudimentary computer generated kind of graphics when it came to the different spaceships. One of the cool parts, I can see your face, Mike, was the cycles, the light cycles.
Well, no, I was just going to ask her quick. Like, I've seen Tron. I've seen both of them, actually. And I was just wondering, was Tron based on a video game or did a video game come out after the movie? Like, which way did that go? Here's
why I put it in the video game category. The actual movie had to do with video game. And the video game itself became a cultural event. It became a huge deal, that game coming out. But it was an awful movie. It really was. I love Tron. Don't get me wrong. I'm a nerd. I love it, but it's a bad
That was
movie.
Jeff Bridges, right?
It was. It definitely
But you got to
was.
remember, the graphics at that time,
it was amazing.
It was the best you could do.
Yeah.
It was amazing. But try watching it now. It's hard. It's a very hard watch. Ken, have you ever seen a movie Tron before? Have you ever sat through it?
Yeah, I've actually seen it. And wasn't it a remake too? Didn't they do two of them?
Yeah, they did Tron Legacy in 2010.
Yeah, I've seen them. Yeah.
Yeah, but the Tron before that was just, I loved it, but hard to watch. There was a movie that I still like, and I know it's not the greatest movie, but at the time it did a great job in what it was supposed to do. And it was just a commercial for Nintendo for about an hour and a half. And that movie is called The Wizard. I don't know if you guys remember back in the day in the 80s or 90s, when you wanted to put a kid in a movie, you got the same kid, and it was Fred Savage from the one. Right? Yeah. He was in every movie in the 90s for a little
Princess
kid,
Bride and
Yep, all those things, man. Before Macaulay Culkin came and knocked him off his pedestal. But anyway, he was in a movie called The Wizard. Oh, no, right? The Wizard was a good movie because it's the first movie to introduce Super Mario Brothers 3. And if you don't remember that game, that was a game
where
you could fly with the Tanuki suit. That's right. You can get yourself a little Tanuki tail and you could fly. And you could
I didn't even know that was the name of it. I always called it the squirrel.
No, it's not a squirrel. It's not a squirrel tail. It's not a squirrel. No, it's a Tanuki. So you can actually use that and fly to a secret level and skip all the levels and go to the very end. You guys remember that?
Nerd alert.
Yep.
I'm a nerd kid.
You keep pressing that button, keep pressing A, and he goes
fly over everything. Yeah. That's it, man. Yeah. So it was a good movie. It introduced the Power Glove, which the Power Glove as a kid seemed like it was going to be this amazing invention. You could just point your hand at the screen, and wherever you moved your hand, that's where it would move on the screen. Okay, it didn't work that way. Okay, I had the Power Glove, man. It barely moved the thing on the object, and it never put it precisely where it's supposed to be. It was the worst thing ever, and I think it retailed back in the day for $30. $30 in the 90s was a lot.
That's a lot of money, player.
Bro.
That's a lot of money. At this time, that's $290.
Yeah.
Yes, $290.
So only rich kids had that. So that was The Wizard. Okay, and I'm gonna bring up one movie about video games that was the absolute worst thing I've ever seen in my life, people. And I've seen Soul Plane. It's Super Mario Brothers. Do you guys remember this movie?
Yeah,
it had
man.
John Leguizamo. It was the worst adaptation of a video game I've ever seen. It was just weird. They followed none of the same storyline for the original Mario Brothers that we all knew and loved. Like the Koopas were these big guys with tiny heads for some reason. You guys remember that? Like the turtle people?
It had John Leguizamo. It had the guy from Roger Rabbit that played Eddie, right? The detective. And basically all they did is they didn't even try to follow along with the game. They're like, okay, so it's two plumbers that wear these hats and they're in New York. And
they
the
have horrible accents. Yeah, man.
Yeah, it was terrible. It was a ridiculous movie.
And ain't John Leguizamo like Puerto Rican?
Yes, sir. Not Italian. Yeah.
What are you saying? Puerto Ricans can't be plumbers, Ken?
I mean, they are now, but they can't be Italian.
No, they can't be Italian. Yeah, that is true. Yeah. So that's my Throwback Thursday, man. I don't know if you guys had any other movies that you saw.
I will tell you, man. You guys remember The Last Starfighter?
Yes.
Like the kid who lived in a trailer park and there was like a video game where he flew spaceships. And he got the high score, and it turns out that those video games were put on Earth so that intergalaxy armies could find the best pilot, go into space, and actually pilot and fight and save the galaxy. I will say there was a time when it seemed like any game was getting its own movie. Like, remember Battleship, the board game?
Man, don't do it, Mike.
I know you love the movie. And I love the movie,
that's
too.
My movie,
but
baby.
you gotta admit, Ken, how do you get from flip up looking laptop? Here's a true story. When laptops became like accessible, I lived around the corner from a Barnes and Nobles where I'd like to go and sit and read and stuff like that, treat it like a library. But I couldn't afford a laptop, so I used to take a Battleship board I had with an Apple sticker logo on the back, and I would go sit in the corner and prop it up just to look like I was one of those trendy hipster guys reading a book and working on my novel at the same time.
That is hilarious.
I will say this, man, and whenever someone got close, I'm like, oh, damn battery, slam it shut, But I will say the Battleship movie was great. I was just waiting, though, because they were remaking all these movies, man. I was just waiting for, like, Chutes and Ladders to have its own movie. And it was going to be like, he's a no-nonsense, plays by his own rules cops. My name's John Chutes, and he's a guy that goes by the book. I'm Steve Lair, and together they're Chutes and Ladders. And it's like, going to be at the end, it's going to be like, shoot first, ask questions, ladder?
You done wrote a damn movie tonight. Bro, that's my thing though. When it comes to movies, I'm always about how much money you made. I don't care how terrible the movie. So here you guys go. The top 10 live action Hollywood movies from video games. Number 1, Warcraft, $439 million.
Never
Number
saw it.
2.
Okay, wait. It cost $600 million to make it.
Right. Number 2, Detective Pikachu. $433 million.
My kids loved it, man.
Number 3, Rampage, $428 million.
I didn't hate it.
Prince of Persia, $336 million. Resident Evil, $312. Sonic, $306.
My kids love it.
Another Resident Evil, $300. Tomb Raiders, like 3 Tomb Raiders in a row, $275. And then Assassin's Creed, like 2. So a lot of these movies made money. But I will say the best video game, and probably my favorite, Wreck-It Ralph.
Yeah,
Wreck-It Ralph, the first one, right?
The first one,
Wreck-It Ralph will probably be my favorite of any movie that's been adapted, a video game that's been adapted. I will give it to Wreck-It Ralph.
And here's
I'm going down the list, and Pikachu will probably be second, and then Rampage would be third because I really love those movies.
You sleeping on Sonic? You sleeping?
I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it yet.
Sonic is an amazing movie. It
like
actually surprised me.
Speed made $200 million.
Yeah, I'll tell you. Yeah. I'll tell you why Sonic probably passed Pikachu though. Yeah, because Sonic came out right at the beginning of the whole pandemic thing. So it got the box office release. It was one of the last movies you could see in the box office in the theater before the pandemic. But then it also released onto the, hey, you can buy it now from your home for like $15-20, which we saw what that did for, what was the movie that everybody was? Trolls. Yeah.
Okay, and also there's some interesting things about Sonic because they released some early pictures of what Sonic was supposed to look like in the movie, and the internet lost their mind. All the fans said it didn't look like the traditional Sonic, and the studio listened for one of the first times and actually changed the look of Sonic to that traditional look you're used to if you played a video game, and I think that's why it got the support also.
What the hell is in Mike's hand?
I don't know, orange. No, it's a yellow ball, but the funny thing is before the show I was wearing a yellow shirt, and when I sat down my whole body was like green screen, so I had to go back and get changed.
So yellow doesn't work on your camera?
Apparently yellow is my green screen at this setting, so but
that's funny.
If you guys want to know what we're talking about, guess you're going to have to go YouTube and find out. So
that's right. There you go, Mike. So that was a great one. And Ken, you should definitely put it on your list, The Last Starfighter. From the 80s. Watch that movie. That's a good one to put it on your list to retro movie review.
It ain't on the list of game movies, so.
But it's not based off a video game.
Yeah,
it's just about video games.
James, Ken was talking about it last week. You were out when he was doing the review of Big Trouble in Little China that you told him to watch. I don't think he's going to take your recommendations of any movies ever again, man. He didn't even finish the movie, man.
I cussed on air. I was so mad at you, James. I actually cussed on air. I was like, this bleep bleep.
Ken, that is a cult classic. How dare you? How dare you?
Yeah, because people watch it, they join a cult. That's exactly what happened. You watch that movie, you join a Branch Davidian. You like, man, where is David Koresh at, bro?
Hey,
man, you watch the movie, you got to drink that Kool-Aid, that Jim Jones Kool-Aid.
Man, all right, man. First off, how dare you? Okay, Jim Jones. He wished that he was in Big Trouble in Little China. Anyway, guys, don't go anywhere because when we get back, we're gonna be talking about the brand new Looney Tunes on HBO. Be right back on Real Laughs 104.1. All right, welcome back, everybody. You're still listening to Real Laughs on 104.1. I'm still your host, James Yan. I am joined with Mike Herlihy and Ken Miller. I should say Ken Blasphemous Miller, who didn't like Big Trouble in Little China, which is an amazing film and a mark of cinematic greatness, by the way. But anyway, Ken, I digress. Because you actually been watching some stuff we're going to talk about in a little bit. I want to get back to you, Ken. But Mike has a special story that he wants to share for us, courtesy of China.
I think this is a case of taking a bad situation and turning it around in your favor.
Okay.
As you know right now, Trump's not the only one blaming China for COVID-19. In fact, one of China's closest neighbors, India, is actually very, very upset with China. All right. In fact, they're calling for a boycott of Chinese goods. They've actually had shirts printed up with the picture of the virus, flag of China, and it says, "China lied, people died." All right.
Ooh.
Now,
damn.
Here's where I got to give some mad respect to China. China realized this was becoming a huge movement. So the first thing they did is started printing up "China lied, people died" merchandise. China is manufacturing the merchandise for the movement against them. People in India are buying their products up like crazy. So this is a case where, I feel like if everybody's coming down on you, man, first thing you want to do is crawl into your cave, cower, maybe lash out a little bit. But China's like, okay, look, guys, how are we going to make a buck off this? And man, they are putting out a ton of merch. So my question to you was, number one, what do you think about that?
First off, life gave them lemons and they made malaria. Like, dude, That is amazing. Be like, all right. You gonna tell everybody we doing this, but you gonna need T-shirts. You gonna need keychains.
It kind of reminds me of the fact that Trump is China's bad, China's this, China's that. I'm going to put all these, taxes and bans on China, but first I need to get my shipment of Trump 2020 merchandise over here before I shut them down.
That's crazy, bro.
So I guess my question to you is, do you guys have an instance in your life that pops to mind where you made lemonade out of lemons, or you had a bad situation, you made it better? And I'm not talking about having kids and learn to deal with that.
I'm still learning, Mike, by the way, on that one. For me, when I was growing up, I told you guys on the previous show about the names, how convoluted my mom's story is about all the kids that she had, and we all have different dads and whatnot. Now, when you're a kid in the 8th grade, a popular game to play is the dozens. Ken, I think you played this game a lot growing up. That's when you go back and forth with your friends or a rival, and you're talking about each other's moms. Because
your mama jokes.
Your mama. Oh yeah, but
the
best mama jokes was the ones that were true. When you could hit somebody's nerve with something that was true. And then we were playing the dozens. I was getting the guy real good, and you could tell, because the way the mama jokes work, the dozens is the guy that gets mad first loses. Yeah. That's how you know who the winner is.
Yeah.
So this guy was getting heated. I was hitting him with mama joke, bam, bam, bam. That was my early stages of doing comedy. And he got mad. Then he say, "Oh, all right. What about your mama? Look at your mama. Your mama got all them baby daddies." But back then you ain't say baby daddy because your mama a hoe. Everybody went quiet. Ooh, he said his mama was a hoe. Like back then, if you take a mama joke so far, everybody's like, ooh, it's about to be on. Instead of getting mad, I turned the fact that he said mama had all these different partners around, and I started saying some ugly stuff about his mom. Like, well, at least my mama, somebody want my mama, unlike yours. A dog wouldn't want to F your mom. Like, just crazy stuff. Yeah, I know. It was the dozens. The harsher the joke, the better it did. So I turned those jokes around about my mama, about all the different partners she had, to use against a dude, and I made him cry and go home. That's how I turned.
And mine was different, James, because people like your mama a hoe, and I was losing. I'm like, well, she is. I'm like, you ain't lying. I was gonna use the same type of story where I was getting made fun of, and I flipped it, and I started making fun of myself, and they was like, "Wait a minute, why you hitting yourself? You hitting yourself? You hitting yourself?
You be rapping?
Yo, I be rapping it myself. I'm like, yo, if I destroy myself, what you can't do nothing, kid."
I want to say there was like a late night TV show in the 90s, and it wasn't as good as In Living Color, but they had a segment on there called Snaps or something.
Yeah, I want to say HBO had a Snap show.
Yeah, okay. I want to say I think I saw Tracy Morgan on there one night.
It was all about snaps. It was 30 minutes of people snapping on each other.
Still, one of my favorite ones was like, your mom's so dumb it takes her 2 hours to watch 60 Minutes.
Yeah.
And then but my all-time favorite was, your mama was so ugly as a baby, her crib had tinted windows to keep her from scaring the other babies.
Good.
Damn.
Yeah. So kudos to I mean, I know there's a lot of negativity for China right now, but I gotta say, man, when you look at your enemies bearing down on you, and you can be like, how are we gonna make a buck off this? You got my respect, because you know me, I'm a merch guy.
Yeah, bro.
That's hilarious.
Not only is it funny, but bro, it's smart as hell business wise. Like, they made a ton, bro.
Mm-hmm.
God.
And if they send the shirts to India, it's gonna have COVID on it. So there you go.
That's funny. The fact that India has an army makes me laugh. Like, I just never thought of India having an army. Like,
dude, it's a bunch of guys with flutes and baskets of snakes, and if they play the right note, stuff goes down, man.
Yo, this is it, bro. This is the show.
They can reach in, pull out your beating heart, show it to you. It's crazy. Didn't you ever see Indiana Jones? Man, you ain't ready.
They got dudes over there yelling, "Yoga fire, yoga flame."
Bruh. This is it, bro.
Hey, the tank don't work. They call tech support.
buddy.
They get a guy from New York. Hey.
Yo, that tech support is American, yo.
That's why it's all still desert.
Oh man.
Did you try kicking it? Did you kick it?
Did you try rebooting it, turning it off and on? Yeah. Okay, before we go, I want to talk to you about something because apparently you've been enjoying yourself. I don't have HBO because I'm not balling like that, but you said the new Looney Tunes on HBO is absolutely hilarious.
Hilarious. HBO Max has a new Looney Tune which is up to date. They also have the old Looney Tunes, so you can watch the black and white Looney Tunes all the way up into like recent. Like the other day, I was watching the one with Bugs Bunny played the baseball team.
Oh yeah,
dude. Which I watched like 20 times. Dude, this is the thing, and I know we're gonna bring the subject up. Daffy Duck was a door-to-door salesman in one of the episodes, and the guy pulled out a gun that has silencer on it and starts shooting Daffy Duck with it. And Daffy Duck was like, man, these mosquitoes are crazy today. And I'm just like, but now you said the new Looney Tunes, you're not allowed to have guns.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
Which is crazy to me because Yosemite Sam is a gun. It's guns. Like he came in, like Elmer Fudd walked around with a shotgun for no reason. Like just
no reason.
Who hunts all year? Elmer Fudd hunted all year. Like you know what I'm saying? I'm just like,
dude,
but I watched the new episodes and they are funny. They are. Funny.
I'm reading it now. Elmer Fudd now chases Bugs Bunny rather than with a shotgun. He's got like a scythe, like the thing the Grim Reaper carries. So he's got one of those. And Siberian Sam, aka Yosemite Sam, I guess for some reason they had to change it to Siberian Sam, tries to use dynamite rather than guns now. So he's just basically now he's just a terrorist.
Okay, that was what I was gonna say. Like with all the bombings and stuff that go on, like dynamite's still cool. Like
Can you imagine Wile E. Coyote going through the Acme manual and just all this not available, not available, not available, not available?
He's on Amazon, Acme Amazon.
Did watching that as a kid, did that make you want to go shoot somebody ever?
No,
never watching watching those fake gangsters. Remember Bugs Bunny used to go against the fake gangsters, the little short one with the big hat.
Yeah,
and he had a Tommy gun. Never in my life have I ever wanted to own a Tommy gun.
No.
I never ran out and hit anyone in the face with a frying pan, thinking it would flatten, and then they could stick their thumb in the mouth and blow themselves back up.
I don't even know where you buy anvil at.
Yo. I did want to set one of those traps where you fall in it.
Yeah.
That looked fun as hell. Yeah. Like one of the little pits they dig up and you fall in it. That looked fun. Ken, does Bugs Bunny, let me ask you this. Now they changed everything from taking the guns away. Does Bugs Bunny still cross-dress?
Nah, but he does have an iPhone.
What?
Same thing.
He does have an iPhone. He does have an iPhone, bro. I would say this. He may in later episodes. I've caught like 2 or 3 episodes, and it's fun. It's still funny. It's still silly Looney Tunes. It's still the silliness of the Looney Tunes. Now it's not. I can't remember the baseball team he played, but it's not 1, 2, 3, you're out. 1, 2, 3, you're out. It's not. It's not that or the silliness of Bugs and.
3 batters lined up.
3 batters lined up with the one batter who cut the tree down. It was like trying to, it's not as silly as that, but it's still funny.
But I got to check it out. So, Ken, real quick, you got HBO Max. Tell everybody at home what your username and password is.
My username is Michael MYCHAEL. It's actually it's crazy. I have HBO Go. I have HBO. For Spectrum, so HBO Max is free. The only thing that sucks about it, you got to have an Apple TV, a Samsung TV, or you can put it on a tablet or the phone. If you have a Fire Stick or Roku, it does not work on a Fire Stick or Roku.
Really?
Yeah, they haven't signed a contract with them yet.
They're not playing.
Or Xbox or PlayStation. So I had to download it to the Xbox. So if we want to watch it, I have to hook the Xbox up in order to watch HBO Max. But if you got HBO Go, it's the same thing. You just don't get the Looney Tunes. You don't get Friends. All the Harry Potters is on it. All the Lord of the Rings. And it also has all of Cartoon Network.
Oh, nice.
Anything that was ever on Cartoon Network, Adult Swim, all of that, it's on the app as well.
I might have to check that out.
Yeah,
man.
so and do the free day, do the 7 free day thing.
I'll try it out. Now, Ken, you're not going to be anywhere this weekend, right? You are not performing.
I'm making shirts.
You are making shirts for Preppy Socialite. Now, Ken, when are you actually going to go back to work? When are you actually
July. I get back on stage in July. Yeah. Well, July when I get back on.
Well, Michael and I, that's Michael with a Y, will be performing this weekend at Riverside Theater. We're going to be in Vero Beach, as a matter of fact. So come check us out, man.
That is correct. Jameson, Darren, Dawson, Jan, whatever else your name is.
Yo. Oh, real quick too, Mike. They also have DC, Adult Swim, the Turner Classic Movie Network, and Sesame Street.
Nice. You heard it first from Ken Miller. Go get that HBO Max. Thank y'all for listening. We'll see y'all next week.